our dear viewers, and welcome to a new edition of our program, Africa Today. A report by the United Nations stated that Egypt is considered the first destination for foreign direct investment among the African countries, receiving 18.6% of total investment channeled to Africa, which are estimated at $52.6 billion in 2023. More details.
The center of the cabinet highlighted Egypt's tireless efforts to adapt with the repercussions of consecutive global crises, lure more investment, improve national economy competitiveness, boost its resilience, and increase ability to absorb internal and external shocks through taking necessary measures to improve the investment climate, including adopting legislative and institutional reforms and developing financial and monetary policies. This came in a report by the center that included infographics as United Nations report that considered Egypt the first destination for foreign direct investment among African countries, receiving 18.6% of total investments channeled to Africa, which are estimated at $52.6 billion in 2023. The economic zone of Suez Canal alone clinched deals worth $10.8 billion in the green, ammonia, and hydrogen domains, not to mention the new $4 billion deal announced by a group of investors to produce green hydrogen. Despite consecutive global crises, Egypt's FDI inflows increased from $9 billion in 2019 to $9.8 billion in 2023. Egypt ranked 32nd in the terms of countries attracting direct foreign investments, according to the report.
And to shed more light on the issue, we are very much delighted to be joined over the phone by Ambassador Sou'ad Shalaby, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Ambassador Shalaby, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Ambassador Shalaby, can you tell us more about the activities of the participation of the meeting that Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli participated on behalf of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in the 6th African Union mid-year coordination in Accra?
Well, as you know, that Egypt has assumed the presidency of Nepal last year, and it will continue for another year. So this is like a midterm meeting, a summit meeting for all the members of Nepal. And as you know, Nepal is the development arm of the African Union, and it is important because it finances projects and programs in order to achieve sustainable development goals. So the presence of Prime Minister Madbouli to represent President Sisi in this important meeting is to shed light on the new projects and the new programs that have been adopted by Nepal for the next strategic planning of Nepal.
Yes, indeed. Actually, Prime Minister Madbouli highlighted Nepal's role in promoting regional and continental integration under the Agenda 2063. What's your take on that, Ambassador Shalaby?
As you know, there is also the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals 2030, and the African Development Goals 2063. And this is the time for Nepal to shed light on, or to concentrate and to prioritize on non-traditional roles for financing resources and for investing in resources. As you know, Africa is very rich in resources, in raw materials, and it has not been explored yet, and that is why there has to be new strategy for the importance of investment in infrastructure, in navigation roads, mining, in airlines, that link between all the countries in Africa. So there has been discussion on the infrastructure of trade in Africa and to mobilize financial resources in priority areas. Especially that there has been a list of 69 projects from 2021 to 2030 that has to be that has to do they have to do feasibility studies and to find financial coverage for these projects.
Yes. Ambassador Shalaby, also Prime Minister Madbouli said Egypt is ready to help deepen the economic integration among the African countries and promote development efforts to improve the lives of the people across the continent. How that could be achieved from your point of view?
As you know, that Egypt has been named the top investment destination in Africa for the second year by UNCTAD report. That means that the FDI inflows are increasing from 2023 to become $9 billion. That means that this FDI will be also directed to projects that are going to serve African countries and to job create, as you know, that all the African countries have human, or I mean, you have to invest in labor more than in technology, and in order to have industrial technology, you have to employ more technicians and you have to train more people. So that is why Egypt is a destination for foreign investment and for projects that are mainly for to use more labor, intensive labor, more than capital intensive.
Of course. Also, Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati emphasized Egypt's keenness to strengthen relations with the Horn of African countries. Your take on that, Ambassador Shalaby?
Yes, of course, the regional security and the the national security of Egypt depends on the regional security. And as you know, the Red Sea, the Bab al-Mandab are very important for our regional security, the Egyptian regional security. That is why the first trip that the new Minister of Foreign Affairs, Badr Abdelati, has made was to Djibouti, Somal, and he also emphasized the importance of Sudan, because of course he met with he has attended the first conference in Cairo, that the conference for Sudanese leaders who met here in Egypt in order to try to find a solution for security and stability in Sudan. So the Horn of Africa and Sudan are the main priority that the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the new minister, is prioritizing because of the regional security of Egypt, because the devastating situation in Sudan is deteriorating and it calls for immediate sustainable ceasefire. That is why he has been going to Accra to talk to the AU responsible people there in the peace and security sector in order to find a solution for the insecurity in Somalia, insecurity in Sudan, and also to find to reach a political solution for the aspirations of the Sudanese people who are suffering from hunger and from disastrous humanitarian crisis.
Indeed. Ambassador Sou'ad Shalaby, former Assistant Foreign Minister, thank you so much for your precious input. And moving on with our program, where Minister of Foreign Affairs, Immigration and Egyptian Expatriates Badr Abdelati emphasized on Tuesday Egypt's keenness to strengthen relations with the Horn of African countries. More details.
Minister of Foreign Affairs, Immigration and Egyptian Expatriates Affairs Badr Abdelati emphasized Egypt's keenness to strengthen relations with the Horn of African countries. In a meeting in Cairo with the European Union Special Representative for the Horn of Africa, Annette Weber, Abdelati stressed the strategic importance of the Horn of Africa countries to Egypt's national security. Abdelati started his first foreign tours with a trip to Somalia and Djibouti to mark the first direct flights between Egypt and the two Horn of Africa nations. He told Weber that the trip reflects the depth and importance of Egypt's relation with the two countries. Both sides also discussed the various security and political issues and challenges in the Horn of Africa, where Abdelati listened to the EU's official assessment of the region's recurring challenges and crises and the growing threats of terrorism and extremism. He underscored the importance of supporting Somali President Hassan Sheikh Mohammed government in achieving stability, development and combating terrorism. Abdelati also discussed with the EU envoy security developments in the Red Sea, stressing the need to ensure the freedom of international navigation.
Since Sudan's civil war erupted 15 months ago, civilians have disproportionately borne the brunt of the fighting. The African Union recently referred to the crisis in Sudan as unprecedented catastrophic humanitarian situation marked by the world's largest displacement and hunger crises, as well as significant civilian casualties.
Since Sudan's civil war erupted 15 months ago, civilians have disproportionately borne the brunt of the fighting. The African Union recently referred to the crisis in Sudan as an unprecedented catastrophic humanitarian situation marked by the world's largest displacement and hunger crisis and significant civilian casualties. Accusations of war crimes have been leveled against both warring parties, the Sudanese armed forces under General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and the Rapid Support Forces led by General Mohammed Hamdan Daglo. Additionally, the United States and international human rights organizations have accused the RSF and allied militias of committing crimes against humanity and ethnic cleansing. Earlier this year, the International Criminal Court Chief Prosecutor launched a war crimes investigation on both the SAF and RSF. The United Nations Security Council adopted a ceasefire resolution calling on all parties to the conflict to reach a sustainable resolution. A few months later, 5 months after the resolution passed, hostilities continue despite international calls to halt the fighting and stop targeted attacks on civilians. Civilians continue to face wanton cruelty, including indiscriminate attacks, widespread rape, and conflict-related forced displacement and wholesale destruction of civilian infrastructure. This violence is unfolding against the backdrop of food insecurity affecting 26.6 million people, worsening protection concerns, and increasing mortality risks. The situation is particularly severe in El Fasher, the North Africa Darfur place where all essential services have been disrupted or halted, resulting in a lack of access to necessities including food, water, and medical care.
Well, with that, our dear viewers, we come to the end of this edition of Africa Today. Till tomorrow with another cruise. Goodbye. Many thanks for watching. I'm Shalaby signing off.